sometimes the biggest realization about someone don't happen out loud. They happen quietly in someone's own mind. This reading looks at the truths about what your person is beginning to accept about you. Not necessarily things they've said to you, and maybe not even things they've admitted to anyone else about you, but things they're slowly acknowledging internally. Because when time passes in situations, they reevaluate what they once believed about this particular connection. They remember conversations differently. They analyze things differently. They reconsider assumptions they made. They notice how life might feel different now compared to how it felt when you were part of it. And those reflections often lead to quiet self-admissions. So each pile here is going to explore a different moment that someone came to term with something about you, like something they may have resisted before but can't ignore anymore. So we're looking at what they're privately thinking about now and how that realization is reshaping the way they think about you. So take a moment to choose your pile with me. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. We'll also have a bonus round that you can tune into. It'll be right after right after pile 4. So we'll meet you in your pile. Pile 1, welcome. You chose the Amethyst and a kitty cat pile here. So this feels like you were right. I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out. So let's take a look at what's showing up here. Okay. The first thing I'm noticing about this pile is the realization this person's having about you is tied to like a perspective of you. And specifically like things in hindsight, like 2020. Because sometimes when people are in the middle of something, they start resisting certain ideas or changes or warnings or red flags that someone else tries to throw at them. And they think of it like that, like it's a threat, you know? They think the other person's overthinking, or they're like trying to sabotage them, or they think like, no, they're reading it wrong, or the situation will turn out differently. Or they're like, I don't want to hear some negative shit, you know? I don't want to hear that. It's making me uncomfortable. Let me grab that. Hang on. Okay, that one. All right. Okay, hang on here. Let's look. Okay, so this person thinks like, oh, what these people are telling them is wrong. The situation's going to turn out differently. I don't want to hear that. Like, it's making me uncomfortable. Stop, you know? But actually what I see here, so the King of Wands, something in their life has recently changed or like revealed something that reminds them of something that you once said to them. So let me just pull a few more because we have Libra, Cancer, and Taurus already. So this is very interesting. So this side points to a recognition happening gradually, not in a sudden dramatic way, but in moments where they start connecting the dots. And it's like they're realizing things in the past and the present were actually connected. Like you warned them about something or someone, and you may have predicted how a certain situation might turn out. Maybe You expressed like concern about decisions that you were making. I'm going to double check that you can see all the cards on my top down camera. One sec. Okay, perfect. Your angle looks perfect here. Okay. So, yeah, this person was like, you were expressing concerns about decisions your person was making. And at the time, I think they brushed it off. They might have gotten defensive or straight up disagreed with you. Or believed that you were misunderstanding the situation or blowing things out of proportion. But now, as things have developed, they're seeing the same thing that you warned them about. Let me pull another card because this is also Scorpio here. So the Empress here highlights something about memory. Oh, and Aries here. So when people realize other people were right about something that's actually important, they start replaying the original conversation in their head. With Pisces here, they'll remember exactly what you said and how you said it. And they start noticing details that they didn't think needed to be taken seriously at the time. And now they're like, oops. So the Knight of Pentacles suggests the realization may have started with a small, tiny little baby moment here. Something that happened that made them pause and think, wait, this feels familiar. Maybe someone behaved in a way you predicted, or a situation developed exactly the way you described it. You know, like you're like, I called this. And suddenly the memory of your world, I was going to say the memory of your words, but the world right here came back very clearly and their world was all messed up. So the King of Swords suggests they're having an emotional reaction. And it's like it's a mixture of them respecting you and having self-reflection, because realizing someone else was right, here's Leo, requires acknowledging that they missed something that you didn't, that you noticed something earlier. You noticed a pattern before it was obvious. And some people have a hard time coming to terms with that. So you also have Aquarius here and Capricorn. So these two cards emphasize that they're not necessarily naming this realization out loud yet. They're admitting that, so them admitting someone else was right is kind of like makes them uncomfortable, because here's Sagittarius right there, Temperance and Virgo. So they're forming this thought in their head very clearly here. They're recognizing that their perspective had less accuracy than they had believed. Like they didn't realize that you were right. You also have Gemini. And so since that recognition has settled in, they're really, really looking into all the past convos with you, because now, instead of remembering your words as opinions and like judgment, they're remembering them as insight, as like you were just trying to help. You weren't trying to sabotage things. And that's them starting to admit to themselves that you saw something before they did and you were just trying to freaking help. You know? So this past finally starting to realize you weren't trying to sabotage them. You weren't trying to cut them down. You weren't trying to be negative in any type of way. You were just trying to warn them about something you saw beforehand. And that's their realization now. They're realizing that now. So follow us into pile 2 if you'd like to see if you have any overlapping messages, or skip to the bonus collective message at the very end, and we'll see if we can get you any messages. I'll meet you there. Bye. Pile 2, welcome. Feels like someone being underestimated in this pile already. Let's see what's coming through, though. So the realization connected to this pile, revolves around perception. Do you see that? Specifically, the way this person originally viewed your potential compared to what they're actually seeing you excel at whatever you're doing now. So this is immediately highlighting someone who's grown. And what stands out here is that the growth they're noticing didn't necessarily happen in front of them. You know what? Scorpio and Gemini were just giving me a hard time here. So I'm going to let them come out. And ironic. Oh my God, look at all these. And then you have Virgo and Cancer right here. Look at that. That's crazy. Okay. Those just really want to sneak out here. So what stands out here is the growth is being noticed. So it didn't happen right under their nose. It happened I don't know. I don't think they were involved in your life at the time when you made these changes. I think that they sort of had disappeared at that time, but you just kept growing. Because something about your life now, your achievements, your confidence, your direction has become very, very visible for them to notice. And it's creating this moment of reassessment almost. Let me pull another card here. This one suggests that when they first formed an impression of you, they placed you in this category right in their mind where maybe they thought they understood what your priorities were, or they assumed that they knew you, or how far you would go in certain areas of life. And I think they also saw you in a specific role within the connection between you two. But the version of you they're seeing now doesn't fit inside those old categories anymore, you know? So interesting. Let me see here. So pile 2, hang on here. Let's just go over the zodiacs we have. So like I said, we have Scorpio, Gemini, Virgo, and Cancerian. There's a lot of water energy here. I won't be surprised if we get a Pisces as well. 3 of Swords is your shadow card. So let me pull another one here. This card emphasizes the element of surprise. This was them being shocked. When people see someone grow beyond what they expected you to, it forces them to revisit their original assumption about you. Sagittarius here. This person's going to start asking themselves questions did I really understand them, or was I completely overlooking things? Aquarius and Capricorn. Were they always capable of these things and I just didn't notice? That's what I'm hearing. So what your reading is pointing to is specific qualities about you that are becoming more obvious now. Oh, look, here's Pisces. I just said that. So I think it's your determination or your resilience that are really standing out, or your ability to grow something meaningful from nothing. I feel you started something and it's really flourished because you got the Magician here as your shadow card too. And so now this person's thinking that your past has actually made you a boss because they're realizing that those traits may have always been present in you, just they never fully recognized them before. So I just pulled the Ace of Pentacles here. That suggests that part of the realization includes a subtle change in respect as well. Not necessarily admiration. Got Leo here. Oh my goodness, you have a lot. So you got Leo here. You've got Libra here. And you've got Taurus here. So this person's seeing evidence of your growth. And that evidence contradicts everything that they thought of you. That they, everything they originally assumed about you is out the window. The truth they're beginning to admit to themselves is this. Look at that. They underestimated you. And it wasn't intentionally or because they thought less of you or they were trying to be cruel, but because it didn't fully, they couldn't really see the full depth of your potential when they first met you. So now that they can see it and it's clear as day, their understanding of who you are has changed completely. Wow. Follow us into pile 3 if you'd like to see if you have any overlapping messages. Otherwise, check out the bonus message at the very end of the reading. We'll meet you there. Bye. Pile 3, welcome. Let's see what messages we can get you today. This pile feels like you were more important than they had realized. Yeah, Page of Wands starting off strong. Okay, so let's take a look at what's actually coming through here. So this realization connected to this pile tends to happen later than you both thought. So it doesn't usually appear while the relationship is still active. This person shows up afterwards when life's going on. But when things start to feel a little different. Libra, Cancer right here. Not worse, just different. Someone made a decision here. Let's pull another card. Oh, okay. So what I'm seeing right now is contrast, change. That's usually what creates this kind of realization. So when someone loses a presence that used to exist in their life, they start noticing the absence in very specific situations. Ooh, we got Pisces and we've got Aquarius here. So it's the way conversations feel now compared to the way they used to. I'm going to take these ones. Aries. It's the way certain moments used to be shared. Used to be the way you brought something to their life that no one else quite replicates. Or even something like a cozy meal or dessert you made. So the realization here, it's not always immediate. Sometimes it takes time for someone to understand how much a person actually contributed to their life emotionally, mentally, intellectually, even practically, getting rides and stuff. Let's pull a few more here. Page and King. So that suggests that the moment this realization started forming, here's Capricorn, wanted to pop out. It happened during a normal experience, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe they had a convo with someone else and realized oh God, it's just not nice talking to others about this. So-and-so would never say it like this, Well, who the hell am I supposed to talk to if I can't talk to them? I'm going to take the Hierophant here. It's Taurus. This person may have experienced a moment that would normally be shared with you, but in that moment, they couldn't call you, couldn't text you. Got Virgo. This would have been different if This would have been different if they were here. I could talk to them. I could tell them. They'd be more enthusiastic. So this card emphasizes a memory of you two being together, being connected. Do you see that? They realize how important you are. You're the Two of Cups, and it's conflicting with them. So their mind starts revisiting moments that once felt ordinary, and it could have been due to them pulling away since you have the Hermit here. Conversations used to feel natural with you guys. You guys had little routines together. Moments where you guys understood something about each other and you didn't need to explain it. You got Gemini here. And those memories take on like different meanings now because there is no meanings anymore because you guys aren't together. They're looking at you through the lens of like, they lost you. You're gone. The Sun here. Knight of Pentacles and the Sun. So this is the internal acknowledgement. Remember, you got the conflict card and then you got the Sun and Knight of Pentacles. So it's not always like a dramatic realization. It's not something they immediately talk about like that. But internally, they made this decision. Ace of Cups. The role you played in their life was like much larger than they had originally understood. Maybe you provided emotional stability. Maybe you brought perspective to situations that they were struggling with. Maybe you just made their day-to-day life better. You know? Page of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. So once someone begins recognizing that contribution, Scorpio here, it changes the way they think about the connection, you know? It's your Empress here. So as I pull the Empress card, this suggests that part of this realization involves being vulnerable. Here was Leo. Because admitting someone matters more than you realize makes you come to terms with like you kind of shit the bed and you internalize that for a bit. So this person doesn't necessarily say it out loud, and they might not ever say it out loud, but when they think about you now, the thought that comes is very simple. You were more important than I realized. That's what they're saying. So that realization slowly remolds the way they remember the connection. So if you want to see if you have any overlapping messages, check out pile 4. Otherwise, fast forward to the collective message at the end of this video, and we'll see if we can get you any messages. Meet you there. Bye. Pile 4, welcome. It feels like you changed this person, pile 4. So the realization connected to this pile is less about the past and more about the long-term impact of knowing you. Okay. Scorpio and Capricorn. So what stands out immediately is influence. Like, not in the way of manipulative, but in the way of like how people shape the way we think, how we approach life, and how we understand relationships. Like when someone spends meaningful time with another person, parts of that interaction tend to stay with them longer and long after the connection changes. So that's exactly what these cards are pointing towards, actually. Let's pull some more 9 of Wands here. So this suggests that the realization they're having about you comes from noticing changes in themselves. 10 of Swords. Maybe they handle situations differently now than they, because of convos that you guys once had. Knight of Swords. Maybe they approach relationships differently because of what they experienced with you. We got Virgo here too. And maybe they develop like new perspectives that were influenced by the time you spent together. Magician. And when they notice those shifts in themselves, it leads to a quiet realization, you know. You got Aries here too. Your presence, your relationship had a lasting impact. We have Libra here too. So the Libra card suggests that it highlights something interesting. So it's how they recognized the influence. So you got Pisces here too. Your influence came up in small moments, Leo, in advice you gave one time in passing. And like, they're utilizing advice you gave them in current situations. It was like advice you gave them where it changed their perspective on things. And it just seemed like ordinary at the time, like it wasn't a big deal. But those moments create like this huge change within them. See the Hanged Man there? Even if the relationship itself has changed, the influence that you gave them didn't disappear. 5 of Swords. So let me pull a few more cards here. This one's interesting because you have so many major arcanas. Oh, now you got the Tower. And 9 of Cups. So this includes respect. So when someone notices that another person has sort of shaped their thinking in meaningful ways, they start recognizing how good that connection actually was, like how much they actually took your word, you know, how influential you were. So here's the World and the 6 of Swords. So that your kind of influence like stays with people for a long time. And you might influence others in your life too. Let's pull some more here. Oh, 10 of Cups. And the Wheel. Okay, so this emphasizes that the realization may appear gradually. Like they didn't notice that you changed them. And you didn't change them in a bad way. It's like you helped them mature, it feels like. You know, you're like, why are you acting like that? Why are you giving these people what they want? Don't give them what they want. Like something like that. And your influence keeps appearing in their day-to-day. Cancer energy. Ooh. Taurus too. So they know you changed something about the way that they approach their world. And that, Gemini, has stayed with them quietly. They might even admit it to you. But they also might be worried about admitting it because that requires like a certain amount of honesty, right? So the truth they're beginning to admit to themselves is this: knowing you left a lasting mark, not just in their memories, but in the way they think, respond, and understand certain situations now has really influenced their day-to-day life. Follow us into the next pile. That's the bonus collective message. We'll meet you there. Bye. Thank you for joining us to the bonus message. The collective bonus message just for you. Let's see what we can get here. Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides. What does this realization mean for their perspective now? Or any other messages you can give to us? Yikes. All right, let's take all of them. So let's look at the bigger picture here, because once someone starts admitting these kind of truths to themselves, it sort of changes the way they think about the connection overall. That might seem obvious, but you know, we always need to clarify. So looking at these cards here, the main theme coming through here is perspective. See that with the Magician. So when people reflect on past relationships or connections, their understanding of those experiences often evolve over time, right? So situations that once were simple seem to look more complex, start to look like more confusing. Moments that once felt ordinary feel meaningful. And the person they once knew begins to appear in a new light. 2 of Wands, 8 of Wands, 3 of Cups. So that suggests the realization that we've explored in this reading are shaping the way they remember you now. Got Sagittarius coming out here. Instead of assuming things about you that they once had, they're viewing it through like a more mature lens. They're noticing things they didn't notice before. They're recognizing qualities that they may have overlooked in the past. And they're acknowledging the role you played and the role that they played more clearly. This is Aquarius here. We have Aries trying to pop out here. I don't know if the camera caught that, but so that highlights something important. These realizations don't always lead to immediate action. Sometimes they simply just reshape the internal narrative, you know? This is going to be like the story they tell themselves about what the connection meant. And in this case, that story is evolving. So let's pull you some angel messages and see what your angels have to say. I'll pull 4 in case you want to choose based off whatever pile you chose. Otherwise, you can just accept all of the messages as messages from your angels. Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides, for allowing the clearest message possible to come through for our collective. Thank you. All right, first message. Your angels will only give you the challenges that you are capable of handling. You are never alone. Believe. Seeing a rainbow is a sign from your loved ones in spirit. Remember, your angels are always there to guide you. Thank you so much for spending your energy with me. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.